Hello everyone, my name is Kwamia Ross and I'm just here with an update. I know I promised I'd keep you updated about my visit with my son. I did have my visit this past Saturday, but before I talk about the visit, I just want to give you an update about my past hearing. I had another custody hearing scheduled. It was on this past Friday, May 20th, 2022. And you know, I mean, I wasn't surprised by the outcome. They went ahead and granted, the Cuyahoga Juvenile Court granted temporary custody of my son Desmond to Department of Children and Family Services. So DCFS has him in their custody, and I wasn't surprised by the verdict. They pretty much, no matter what, have decided, you know, in favor of DCFS ever since, you know, I've been dealing with this. And it's like, you know, we have another trial coming up in July, and I'm strongly considering not showing up at all or not even going. I'm considering just walking away completely and not dealing with this anymore, because it's like, no matter what I do or what I say or what's argued about me in court, this entire juvenile court system has not been just. It has not gone favorably at all. And I feel like no matter what, I've always been painted as a mother who's mentally ill and unstable and can't take care of her children. And these lies have been allowed to be told about me repeatedly. Like I said, when I first, my children were first taken out of the home, the original caseworker, Toretta Stores, said under oath in court and gave a testimony that I had a mental illness that was preventing me from taking care of my children and having them in school on a regular basis. She stated all these things despite having any credentials to give a diagnosis on me, despite having any concrete proof or evidence of me having a mental illness, and despite having an evaluation done on me. They were allowed to just say all these things about me in court, and the court, you know, gave a verdict in their favor. And for over 2 years, the same thing has been going on. And I'm at the point where I am no longer going to be jumping through anyone's hoops. I mean, they always say reunification. They're saying their order right now is reunification. But I know right now they'll say reunification, but they're going to change that to permanent custody. The same thing they did with my daughter. They stated that they were going to reunify me with my daughter. They had me fulfill the case plan requirements of having parenting classes and having individual therapy and family therapy with my children, which is all the things I fulfilled. But they still turned around and chose to keep my daughter, which I knew they were going to do this all along. And they already planned to do this. And you know, just dealing with this justice system and the Department of Children and Family Services, I've seen a lot of just unfair things and you know, biased things. How the court always decides in their favor, how they're all in it together. They pretend to give you a fair trial and nothing about it is fair. They already make their decisions before you even walk into court, and no matter what is stated in court, no matter who argues on your behalf, no matter what evidence you present, they're always going to decide in favor of keeping your children. And I'm at the point where, you know, I love my kids dearly. I love my son. And it's like the worst thing is having to walk away from him. I mean, he's still young. He's only 15 years old, and he has, you know, at least 2 years before he can become a legal adult. And at the rate we're at now, I feel like, you know, they'll keep my kids till they're 21. That's what they're going to do. They're going to try and keep my kids to 21. And it's not a thing I can do about it, because I have no one to advocate for me. I've been my own advocate. That's why I made these videos. And the Lord knows the truth. Sadly, he's the only one who could speak out and help me. God knows the truth. And until he decides to do something about, you know, these people and this entire wicked, unfair justice system, then nothing can be done for my children. Nothing can be done for me or my children. It's heartbreaking, because I set out to do God's work. When he advised me from the beginning that these things were happening, when he opened my eyes to what was happening, I prayed for the people. I prayed for other families and their children. And I tried my best to speak out and just get the information that I knew exposed to the public, so other people could actually act and get the word spread out, so there will be some type of, you know, justice. But that hasn't gone according to what I wanted. And I'm at the point where, you know, I'm tired of being dragged back and forth to court for no reason, just so you can keep prolonging the inevitable. You're going to keep my children. We already know that. I'm tired of playing games back and forth, and it's sad because I love my children. I was never the type of woman to neglect my children or even try and harm them. And the fact that people can sit in court and lie and paint these depictions of me that I'm just this messed up, unstable person who just cannot take care of my kids, who have this mental illness. It's just disheartening that can even be allowed to happen. And I am at the point where it hurts. I really, when I went to my visit, I really was hesitant to tell my son because I knew it would break his heart. Because when I talked to him on the phone before I even went to court, he said he knows, he feels like he's going to be stuck there and he's going to spend his entire summer in that jail. And I tried to give him, you know, a positive outlook and say, don't think of it like that. But, you know, honestly, this has been allowed to happen. My son has lost his summer after summer. He's been in bondage and captivity. He was brought home to me at the end of last summer. He wasn't even home for, barely 2 weeks. He only got to enjoy 2 weeks of his summer at home with his family, and now he's gone again. Even before that, he was in a bondage. It's like my children have been allowed to keep being placed in captivity. God has allowed this to keep happening, and it's sad that people can lie and do these evil, wicked things to children and get away with it. And I'm at the point where I'm just waiting for justice to be served. I don't want to keep going back to court when we already know that you're going to keep deciding the same outcome. The court system is very, very unfair, especially the juvenile court system. Department of Children and Family Services. And it's sad that these are men and women who are supposed to look out for the best interests of the children, and yet you leave children in abusive situations every day. But when you have a mother who is not abusive, who has not harmed her child, you will go through the extreme measures to make up lies and slandering and everything you can do to keep her from having her children, to keep her from being with her children. That you will take a child out of the house who is disabled and cause him to be in a juvenile detention center where he sits in one room, one hot room with nothing to do but just lie there on a cot and has nothing to do after school. He'll go to school throughout the day, but then lie on a cot at night or throughout the rest of the day with nothing to do. Or in a situation where there's no toilet inside the cell that he's in. None of the children have toilets in their cells. So my son, sometimes if he knocks on the door and the guard doesn't hear him or the staff doesn't hear him and can't let him out, he has to urinate and defecate on himself. That's what you want children to experience, or him being approached by people in gangs and being subjected to things he shouldn't be subjected to. I mean, my son and my children have been through a lot. Like I said, the last group home my son was at, he was stabbed in his neck and his chest. And he even told me, he had disclosed me, he had been shot at a foster care home. So, you know, my kids were never subjected to this kind of stuff when they were in my care. And the fact that they can be taken out of the home and allegations could be made against me that are false, saying that I have a mental illness when there was never any mental illness. These were just lies made to keep my kids and take them away from me. And it hurts that, you know, God allowed this to happen. God allowed me to be retaliated against. He allowed the enemy to come up against me because of the work I was doing for his kingdom. And sadly, I probably will never receive my children back in my custody, because this is how these people operate. They'll lie and say all kinds of things that they'll give your kids back to you. They'll make you go through therapy and jump through hoops, like I said before. But even after you've fulfilled everything, there's a very slim chance that you'll even receive your kids back. If they want to keep them, they can do whatever. They can say whatever they want, do whatever they want. No one will investigate. No one will go back behind them and check up. They can make up any lie there is and keep your kids. And that's what I've dealt with. And I'm at the point where I'm going to give everybody what they want. I'm ready to walk away and give everyone what they want. So coming up the next trial, I strongly feel like I will not be attending that court case. I do not want to keep going back to court knowing that the outcome will never be different, knowing that, you know, the magistrate is always going to say he's going to always rule in favor of DCFS, and they're going to continue to say they're going to hold on to my kids. And, you know, that's the game they've been playing, and I'm done playing that game. I'm done playing it, and, you know, I'm trying to decide whether I should just walk away permanently. The only thing, I just don't want to, you know, hurt my kids. My daughter's already gone. She's been permanently taken from me. They have her permanently, and they've completely ceased all communication, and that's what they wanted all along. So, you know, it's nothing I can do about it. I just want, sadly, I can't wait to, when God does finally get justice, and these people are punished for their actions, and they can experience the same pain that they've inflicted upon me and my family and other people in their families. But that's the only update I wanted to give you all. I got to see my kid. I got to see my son. It was a good thing. I won't be able to see him again probably for a while. Like I said, even if I decide to stick around, you know, I won't be able to see him at least for another month. But it felt good to be able to see him. You know, he looked like he was doing well, and he just wants to go home. He wants to be with his family, and I don't blame him. But that's all I have to say for now. Thank you.